Welcome to the Family Banking Show with your hosts Rob, Derek, and John, where we dive into the world of the infinite banking concept and discuss personal banking strategies to secure your legacy and build generational wealth. We're glad you're here, and we hope this episode serves you well.
If you're interested in learning more about setting up your own family banking system, send an email to thefamilybankingshow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Family Banking Show. We are your hosts, Derek, Rob, and John. Guys, it's been too long. How are things?
What's going on, Derek? It is awful outside, and I know we talked about the weather, but these Canadian wildfires, I just want to go over to whoever's managing whatever forest service or whatever, and just tell them to figure it out, because all this wildfire smoke is really coming into our area in Minneapolis, and can't run now, and I'm all grumpy about that. So, but otherwise, things are going really well, and yeah, super thankful.
Yeah, it's that's a frustrating part. It's intentional burns, and they're like, hey, it's blowing all that smoke right, over into
is it intentional?
Yeah, a lot of it's intentional burning that they're doing, and so it's like, hey, we're smogging up our cities, and it's like, hey, anyway, you're downstream of us, so who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. No, I felt it in my throat, and it's a little bit of chest pain too. I was like, this is real.
Yeah, but it never used to be like this. Every summer now, it's like this. So I never remember it being like this. So yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, my wife and I were just talking about this, and she goes, well, what are they, burning the whole nation down? How big are these wildfires?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're right in the middle actually, we're at the last not tail end of summer. We're at the beginning of the end of summer. It feels like it's going so quick. It's like, dang.
Sometimes I feel like my dad is a eternal pessimist. He goes, as soon as, June 21st, the summer solstice, he goes, okay, winter's almost here.
Your summer.
Yeah, it cuts things short pretty quick with him. But well, guys, it's been a while. It's good to be back with you guys, and hopefully our listeners are ready for us to get back into the swing of things. Today we're talking about kind of an interesting topic: life insurance as a labor of love. And I'll kick us off, guys, because this was kind of my brainchild. And just last night I was reflecting. I'm just like, I think oftentimes when we're talking about personal finances, right, we want the benefit immediately for ourselves. And I just stopped to think, I'm like, no, life insurance and doing this isn't for me. It's for other people and for their benefit. It is truly a labor of love. The savings, the mindset behind getting life insurance, the funding of the annual premium every year, and of course now I get excited for that. But when you initially get started, you kind of, to some people, might feel like a little bit of a sucker punch to be paying such large annual premiums. But to me, it is a labor of love for my wife, for my kids, grandkids, Lord willing, another generation after that, if not more, seeing how far this death benefit within our family banking system can go. So what are your guys' take on this idea of life insurance as a labor of love? What comments do you have to share?
Yeah, I would agree with that too, and because I was thinking about when how Nelson says that the idea of infinite banking is caught, not taught, and the folks that we work with that have caught it, the importance of protecting their family is something that it's part of that's actually that I talk about this, I think, how many million episodes, but there's all these combination of, when you first look at it, it's like, oh, this is a great way to the first thing that attracted me is this is a great way to have uninterrupted compound growth that I could leverage, right? And then you're like, well, but then it's got creditor protection, it's got this, it's got that, and then it protects my family and protects legacy, and it's just like all these benefits just keep building on each other, and it becomes this big epiphany, like this thing's amazing. Like, and but what I'm settling back on is this financial this process based upon this product that this this amazing dividend paying mutually owned whole life product that we designed specifically to give you that front end cash value that you can leverage for your family and your life and for now, but that future benefit, the immediate benefit. So it's kind of like I can do this thing that can benefit my family immediately now with like the financial aspect of it, but then I can also protect them. That's like really like locked it in. Like this is a good use the word good. Like this is a good thing.
Yeah.
This product because it's blessing my family in so many ways, and that just like really sealed the deal. It's like not only is it financially advantageous, but it's protection and it's generational protection, and it ties into that love for family that I have. And it's like I don't know, it just like it connects all the dots, and it just ties in so well that's it. That's one thing I really appreciate about it is it's amazing financial kind of process and tool you can utilize, but it has like in a sense that love component of protection and generational blessing that other things just don't have.
Right.
Yeah, another component I think that's really fascinating to me is just zooming out and thinking about just the act of love that in a circumstance that requires sacrifice of some sort.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, my family on my dad's side is Cuban, right? My dad was born in Cuba. My grandpa, when my dad was 6, they immigrated from Cuba. It was when, Castro and the communist kind of government started to take over. And this like labor of love there obviously is much more high stakes.
Hmm.
But thinking like my grandpa had no certainty of anything really that would things would work out. He just loved his family so much that he had these ideals and principles that he's sticking to, and he's going to take risks. He's going to take action and honestly sacrifice a lot. He had land, he had a lot of stuff that was going in Cuba. Uh, I promise I'll bring it around. But he entered an unknown for the sake of love.
Hmm.
And there's like a great deal of respect and honor that goes with that. And here there's it's incredible that like people think about the capitalization period in IBC and they think about maybe some of those short-term
Hmm.
delays in benefit as a really big deal. But two things, like one, it's not that long. It's like probably three to
Right.
5 years max,
Yeah.
maybe a little longer. And two, there's complete certainty with it. Like guaranteed to grow, guaranteed to protect your family, and everything else, Rob, that you just talked about with the components of life insurance. And so it's almost like you're mitigating the amount of sacrifice, if you want to call it that, or just delay,
Hmm.
because you have all these guarantees and certainties with it. So it's like you don't really need that much love, honestly, to do my grandpa. He had a lot of love and he had a lot of sacrifice involved because he knew this was going to be better despite the uncertainty. Here, it's like
Hmm.
you can take a very well like educated risk per se, or just like step into the unknown where it actually is known and it actually is certain and it's very much guaranteed for generations to come. And so that was kind of like just a connection point where I'm thinking like most times love will require some sort of sacrifice. Uh,
Hmm.
and here it's like, yes, there's kind of a sacrifice. There's a need to obviously continue to earn income, which probably most families are doing anyway, or
Hmm.
likely going to have to do more if they're not using IBC. And the need to like have a slight liquidity loss in cash value in the first few years. Aside from that, there's not too much of of a sacrifice they're making, and likely it's only benefits, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So that's just a perspective I wanted to connect love to that level of sacrifice or just delayed gratification, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I
Yep.
mean, we often talk about not only we focus a lot on the living benefits
Hmm.
of life insurance and becoming your own banker, right? What that means for you immediately in your context. But we oftentimes, either touch just high level on that generational aspect of love and sacrifice. And it is that labor of love and sacrifice. And I got to thinking you know, I'm a sole income earner in our family. My wife stays home with our kids, and we wouldn't have it any other way. We love that lifestyle and what that brings. Uh, and I was just blown away by the sense of peace and security, knowing that the biggest risk to our family is not going bankrupt, it's me dying. And then what happens to my family's lifestyle at that point? And knowing that, we've got millions of dollars of life insurance to cover in case of that event. And that almost did happen to me. It happened, maybe 2, 3 years ago. And I don't remember if I've mentioned this on the podcast, but there was an accident at work, and I had a stack of windows fall on me. Probably over like 15,000 pounds of windows.
Holy cow.
And I was in a semi-trailer, and I could have been crushed by the windows. And for sure, I would have been in the hospital for a lengthy period of time. But by God's grace, it was patio doors. And so they were tall enough that they hit the sidewall of the semi-trailer. And thankfully, none of the glass shattered or anything, but it broke my leg because I got smushed under it.
Wow.
But I didn't get fully crushed. But, in that moment of time, it's just like, thank God for life insurance, because that could have been it. And my wife, what would have happened if we didn't have that? She would have had to go back to work and somehow still pay for childcare and figure out how to cover the mortgage and all of it, all these sorts of things. Just these thoughts come rushing through your head, and just like, yeah, truly do thank God for life insurance and the fact that it is really the only financial instrument that can protect against that type of loss in your family. So,
yeah.
And another component there, just thinking about a situation, my wife stays home with the kids as well. If I were to pass away and didn't have life insurance, not only would it impact her and just the stress and going back to work and everything involved with taking care of family,
yeah,
it's going to add a burden to probably her parents, probably my parents, probably extended family to have to come in unexpectedly and contribute probably financially. So we're loving our extended family most likely, which is a blessing even to have that level, system of support. But we don't want to impose undue burden, particularly on our like immediate family, but also on our extended family, should something happen to us.
Yeah, another kind of odd scenario is, we family friends who I don't believe are listeners to the show, so I'll leave things vague, but a young mom who recently gave birth to her first child, and her cancer came back, and now, she's in a hospital, and they're not a good scenario. I'll just leave it at that. And you just don't know, guys. You just don't know when your last day is going to be your last.
Right.
And you do know, however, what the effects will be when that day comes. You can at least imagine what the results would be for your family. And life insurance, particularly whole life insurance, is really the best way to insure against that.
Yep. When you mentioned that last night, you sent out the text of what should we talk about tomorrow? What are you guys thinking? And you brought up it's insurance as a labor of love, and and we've been talking about that perspective. But then another thing that I thought of is as agents, like it's also like we didn't all get out of high school and just go we weren't born wanting to be an insurance agent, right?
Yeah.
We all learned about it by reading Nelson Nash's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, and the light bulb going off about what an amazing process this is based upon this amazing product that no one ever told us about, and how it can benefit our families, and how it shows love to our families. and then this passion, like we all got licensed and we all went through the Nelson Nash Institute, became practitioners, and were sponsored and mentored, and became approved to go out and spread Nelson's message of infinite banking via this kind of unique created permanent whole life policy. But that it's this passion that we have to share this with people, because how it can benefit others, how it can benefit and protect families. And so it's like there's also, I think, a labor of love component in it, and how we're sharing it with our clients, and how it's like spreading the gospel in a way. Like, how if this is a thing you never heard of that can help save your life, there's a kind of that a component to it that is this labor of love of sharing this to help other people, help other families, protect their families now, but also be able to leverage it financially now. So there's a component of that to it too that keeps us going. And I know it motivates me of how I can help people. And so there's a lot that kind of struck me when you mentioned that last night. It's like, yeah, there's another labor of love component to it that is part of the gratification that I get helping people with this amazing process and product.
Yeah, it's that level of sacrifice, like I was talking about earlier, where it's the time, the
Hmm.
resources involved just to even start. Like all
Yeah.
that up to going through the practitioner program, going through the mentorship, going through all of that, like you're talking about, just to start,
Hmm.
and um, trying to build a business,
Hmm.
spreading this really, really wonderful message in a sense, in a way, and in a structure that intentionally reduces any income that we would receive from these sorts of
Right.
policies that we would sell or, help people implement. That is a labor, an element of sacrifice that is purely out of like love for others. And if anyone thinks it's anything else, that we're just like commission hungry or greedy or whatever it is, you know, absolutely untrue, because everything we do is just out of like trying to serve and trying to just bring something that changed our lives, that we love, that we're passionate about. And we know the good, like you're talking about, Rob, the good in it for
Yep.
others, that we do it to a certain extent, that we reduce our commission, that we reduce our income so that
Yep.
others get the greatest benefit of it. Uh,
Right.
I think is um, rare that you don't see people sacrificing their own kind of gain for others' benefit in that way, especially in
Yeah.
Yeah.
business.
And this level of service, we wouldn't do this. We wouldn't be in the insurance space. We wouldn't be talking about family banking if we didn't honestly believe it.
Hmm.
But every time that we meet with a client and they choose to be intentional and get started with their family banking system, this labor of love isn't just one-on-one with the client. It's with the client's grandkids too. Like
Hmm.
that's the generational impact of this is you're getting something started that is going to multiply and grow and affect your generations, your heirs downstream. And we are thrilled to be a part of that. Like
Yep.
that's what gets us fired up, knowing like I'm not just impacting one person's life, I'm impacting 15 people at one time. And they're 15 people or 14 people that I'll never meet or may never meet in the future. But I know for a fact that they're going to benefit from Grandpa Joe getting a policy when he was 30. That's cool to me, is that this could be that level of impact in one or two or three conversations. Um, and somebody just being bold, having courage, making that sacrifice for themselves, and we get to be a part of it and see what it could blossom and grow in 50 years time or 100 years from now. What that could do for a family is incredible.
I'm sure the Rockefeller children, grandchildren, great 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 grandchildren are still thanking their
Hmm.
generations, and particularly John D. Rockefeller. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. When grandpa or great grandpa, I mean, you were just talking, John, about your family members and the level of sacrifice that they took. And, that immediately brings up, my great grandpa was a Swedish immigrant. And our family have lived within a 15-mile radius of where he immigrated to.
Hmm.
And it's crazy that this is our place. This is where we call home. And it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So.
Hmm.
Yeah. We get to do that with life insurance too. So that's just awesome to think about. All right, guys, any other thoughts, just, kind of the more emotional aspects of getting life insurance, why, why somebody should be doing this as a labor of love? What are your guys' final takes here before we end this episode?
Yeah, I just think it's just a special product and process that people just aren't aware of, and it has that component of protection and caring for your family and the financial benefits. That's a fun part of it too. Is a lot of our clients they kind of get the immediate, oh, I can use it as a family bank and it protects my family like right now. But it's fun when there's so many light bulb moments to early cash value, dividend paying, permanent whole life insurance that, oh, and then I can use it as a volatility buffer when I'm in retirement, and I can use it as tax-free income in retirement. And like, yep, yep, yep. It's like this amazing tool in your financial toolbox that nobody knows about that also blesses and protects your family now and for generations to come. It's just it drives that passion that we have to share it with folks. So yeah, I liked your take about, is it a labor of love? Yeah, it is.
And more so, just seeing the follow-on effects. I think we talk about this often. Just, uh, I think I'm a good example, maybe, that IBC enabled me to help others with IBC and start this business and do
Yeah.
things that
Hmm.
feel passion, that feel service and creating value for others. But transparently, like also helps me build a life for my family, like flexibility of schedule wise and tons of other
Hmm.
benefits that is now like strengthening my family for generations to come and on a non-financial aspect
Hmm.
of it. And there are many people I've seen already kind of change courses, start their own business, start their own thing, and IBC is a pillar of what's giving them the motive or the motivation and the capacity and ability to do that. So helping people kind of live according to their purpose and calling and meaning, that's ultimately, the fun part and the rewarding part and is what we love to do.
That's right.
Well said, guys. All right. Well, we will end it here. Thank you again to our listeners. If you're interested in getting started with your own family banking policy, you can reach out to us at thefamilybankingshow@gmail.com. And one of us three guys would be happy to sit down and meet with you and your family. All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you in the next episode.
See you next week.
Thank you for joining us. If you're interested in a conversation about anything we've discussed, you can find our contact information in the show notes below.
And subscribe, follow, and leave a review to help spread this message and to help families across the country discover the generational blessing of IBC. May God bless you, and we'll see you next time.